Brittany got a call on her phone last week from a company offering to help her refinance her home and save her money. A day later, she received another call from apparently a different company offering to help her refinance her home. And she's just wondering, why is she getting these calls all of a sudden? What is going on? Is there a scam going on? And what should she know? Cora, it's a good question for all of our listeners.
Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with proceeding with caution, right? And so
Yeah.
asking those right questions, just kind of having some alarm bells up, I think is always a good thing in today's age. But generally speaking, I think that the market conditions have been fairly decent, but will certainly continue to be more favorable eventually for a refinance market. So I'm not totally concerned with her necessarily getting calls, regarding a refinancing as to how they would have gotten her information. It's quite possible that if she's recently purchased a home, in the last few years and maybe paid 8%, of course, all that would be public record as far as the mortgage and the deed that's lodged against the property. But, that could have given rise to some sort of lead generation algorithm or database where this, potential loan officer may have received her information and thought to himself or herself, they may be a good candidate for a refinance. Because if they bought in the last 2 years, it's probably going to be a higher rate. It's what it is now. I can tell you from a title company perspective, we are actually starting to do refinances again. It's something I
Whoa.
haven't seen in a couple years. So maybe a few a week. And I think, the Fed meets this, or just met this last week. And so just continuing to watch if they are going to drop the rates before the election, if so, how much. But I think we all agree it's inevitable at some point in the next 6 months to a year. And when that happens, the floodgates on the refinances, whether you need to get your equity out of the house and do a cash out refi, or you were someone who purchased your property in the last couple of years at that 7.5%, 8% or more, you're probably going to be looking to take advantage of those more favorable rates. So I don't think it's necessarily something to be alarmed about. However, that would be up to you, Brittany, whether you want to speak to them directly on the cold call or you want to call your trusted loan officer or lending institution. So again, who you work with matters. And so maybe if you do know somebody, you bank somewhere locally, you want to go in and say, hey, phone call about refinancing. Can you tell me what the rates are? And here's what my rate is now. And does that make sense? That may be a good way to test out the viability of what's being told to you on the phone. And also just kind of verifying from an authenticate, source, someone that you trust and that you like.
Good point. And local makes it a lot easier. You can talk to somebody face to face as opposed to on the phone. And if you've got a friend or real estate agent, someone who you trust who could recommend somebody, that's the perfect way to do rather than getting a phone call and not knowing who you're dealing with over the phone. We're going to take a break. When we come back, our listeners tell us what you should know before you buy a home. True. Continuing with us till the top of the hour, Brad Lawler, owner of Home Team Inspection Service and Team Bug Out. You can reach Brad at any time to get something scheduled for your house, 844-411-TEAM. Also, Cora Henderson, who's over at Pitt and Frank LLC. They do a great job of getting your home closed at the closing table. And you can reach Cora and her folks at 895-9900. If you are thinking of selling your home now or in the future, I would love to help you. Simply call me, no home too big or too small, free, no obligation analysis. I will come out personally and we'll talk about the process. You can reach me at 376-5483. Or you can go to bobsellslouisville.com. Hit the submit button when you fill it out, and I will give you a call back. We're back in a moment on News Radio 840 WHAS.